Hello, I'd like to speak with you as Jerry Lewis the father rather than Jerry Lewis the entertainer. And for the benefit of those who are not aware of it, I have 3 sons and I feel more or less qualified to do so. Now, would you as a parent stand by and watch a child slowly die? A pretty easy question to answer, isn't it? You couldn't stand by. You'd do everything in your power to help, wouldn't you? Well, at this very moment in this country, you can multiply 1 child by 135,000. That's how many children are slowly dying of muscular dystrophy. MD is a mystery disease. We know neither the cause nor the cure. Now, you can help save these kids' lives by supporting the research sponsored by Muscular Dystrophy Associations of America. Please give as much as you possibly can to your local march on muscular dystrophy, or mail your gift to the Muscular Dystrophy Associations of America, MDAA, care of your local postmaster. Thank you very much.
This is Santa Barbara, California, a jewel of the Pacific coast. Santa Barbarans are rightly proud of their city. Small by accepted standards, it is nevertheless one of the more beautiful communities of the world. Our architecture has been carefully planned to conform with centuries of tradition. A tradition that was born when the early Spanish padres created the inspiring California missions. We are basically a residential city. While some of the homes that line our streets are not pretentious, others are storybook mansions. There's one thing, however, that all of our people have in common, regardless of where or how they live: the concern for the well-being of their children. Here, in a surrounding of warm, clean air and natural beauty, youngsters have an opportunity to grow to healthy, happy, normal adults. But like so many communities in the United States, a shadow hangs over Santa Barbara. It is a creeping, inhuman murderer. It is the shadow of muscular dystrophy. This is Stephen Taylor, a victim of muscular dystrophy. Like 200,000 other victims of this disease, 2/3 of them children, he has been reduced from a healthy, happy child to a relatively helpless form of humanity. Stephen wasn't always a helpless cripple. At the age of 6, he was a normal, vigorous child. Perhaps not always able to keep up with the rest of the children, but in there pitching. Steve was clumsy. There were times his parents wondered if he would ever learn to pick up his feet. In spite of his clumsiness, Steve was happy. He was able to laugh at being awkward in his attempt to keep up with his active playmates. In too short a time, Steve's clumsiness increased until normal movement was difficult. The physical change was apparent as his once healthy leg muscles developed into useless, fatty tissue. Getting up off the ground became quite an effort, and his clumsy walk was reduced to a waddling shuffle. This disease is little known to the average American. The most competent of doctors at times have difficulty in diagnosing the early stages of muscular dystrophy. Less than 6 years ago, there was no concentrated effort to analyze or combat this dreaded disease. A doctor has many unpleasant duties, but one of the most difficult is to tell a mother, your child has muscular dystrophy. Yes, Stephen has muscular dystrophy. Can you conceivably comprehend what this statement would mean to you if this were your child? When a youngster is stricken with this disease, it is not only a disaster to the individual, it creates a tragic change in the way of life for the entire family. What does it mean to have a child afflicted with muscular dystrophy? When this helpless stage is reached, all vestige of normal family life has disappeared. The patient can never be left alone. Caring for the child becomes an exhausting task, both mentally and physically. Everything must be done for him. He must be fed, bathed, dressed, his every movement dependent on someone. But the most difficult of all for the parent is to conceal their personal loss and help their child lead as normal a life as possible. The children do not give up easily. As the once healthy muscles weaken, the effort of movement becomes increasingly greater. Things that were easily accomplished as an infant are now attained only by a courageous determination. At night, the struggle is at its peak. Small things such as turning over, moving an arm or leg must be attended to by someone. But the real battle begins when the lights go out. While these children are helpless physically, mentally they are as alert as ever. During the day, many things happen to help these youthful minds escape the shackles of their physical imprisonment. But who can say what fears are in their hearts at night? Stricken before they knew the real joy of living, they eventually are confined to a bed, never to leave it again alive. What is being done to help the victims of muscular dystrophy? At St. Francis Hospital in Santa Barbara, a physical therapy department is available to aid those afflicted. The hoist is used to raise the patient from the cart, turn, and lower him into the pool. Now we have a good look at this boy's legs. They are very large and look strong, but actually they are almost solid fat. This is the hypertrophic form of progressive muscular dystrophy. Floating in the warm water allows this boy to move his legs, something he cannot do on dry land, where he is completely helpless. Notice the swimming motion of his legs and the happy expression on his face. He is moving his legs as he once did as a healthy child. In his own mind, he is really swimming, and that to him is pure pleasure. Floated onto the plinth or table, he is given exercises. These exercises are possible for him to execute only with the assistance of water. The physical therapist is attempting to get some of his abdominal muscles to contract. This 60-year-old man, a former letter carrier, was stricken at the age of 35. He's almost completely paralyzed in the arms and shoulders. He cannot lift his arms without assistance from the physical therapist. By stepping down into the deeper water, he can raise both arms by his own efforts, aided, of course, by the flotation of the water. Just put yourself in the place of this man. 25 years of progressive sickness with a wife to care for and children to raise. And this is Billy. He weighs 140 pounds. His mother weighs 130 pounds. Naturally, some assistance is necessary in handling him. This ingenious lifting device is the answer. He can be picked up out of bed and deposited into his wheelchair with ease, and when in the clinic, can be easily moved from the wheelchair onto the mat for exercises. Looking at this boy, we see the progress in this disease. Until the age of 3, he was a normal boy. Then he developed large calves. This was caused by the degeneration of the muscles into fatty tissue. This paralysis spread slowly to the trunk and upper extremities until the result was complete helplessness. This young lady was hit with the disease as a child. She awkwardly held her own for many years until a period of bed rest started her on her downward course again. She has difficulty going upstairs. She must reinforce her thigh muscles by pushing with her hand above her knee in order to get up. She looks strong, but in reality she is very weak, as evidenced by her efforts in getting up from the mat. Notice the characteristic waddle to the gait of a muscular dystrophy patient. This girl exhibits this type of walking as she swings her hips to help move her thighs and legs. Ricky is the most pathetic type of all. He is the atrophic type. His muscles have shrunk and wasted so that there is nothing left but skin and bone. He is actually a living skeleton. His joints are bent, stiff, and useless. He cannot walk, he cannot sit. He has to lie down all the time, yet he has a clear mind and takes a normal part in the conversation about him. Valiant efforts were made to prevent his deformity, but to no avail. The exercise necessary to keep this child's arms and legs straight was so painful that the mother did not feel the effort was worth his suffering. Deterioration progressed slowly. At this stage, it is doubtful that Ricky could survive a common cold. His fate is certain. This treatment of physical therapy is a relief, not a cure. At present, there is no known cure. The Muscular Dystrophy Associations of America have research programs in over 100 research institutions. Doctors, scientists, pathologists have all banded together to fight this dreaded disease. They are working as an inspired team, but they are only half of the team. The other half is you. Without your generous contributions of time and money, none of this work can continue. We know with all our combined efforts that one day muscular dystrophy will be conquered. But we need those combined efforts now, for there is a battle against time to help those already afflicted. Remember, the time and money you give will help a child to live. Yes, you, the other half of the team, must make the decision. Surely you want to help these stricken people, or do you want Stephen and the thousands like him to stand alone?